Hi guys, today we're going to do a study on the reach back. So I was trying to throw for some distance recently out on the field, and I had a little bit of an insight. Let me make sure this is muted first. So as we're throwing here, what I'm trying to do is have them come out on a hyzer line, kind of rise up into the air and get high, and then fade down to the right, or really turn down to the right, and then come out of it to the left and be behind the trees over in this area. And all day long when I was trying to do this, everything was kind of shooting way off to the right super early, staying super low, and kind of landing down here somewhere. So let's watch that one more time. You kind of see the line that's happening. It's sort of the shape that I want, but it's not really moving out to the left. It's not getting high enough. And it's just diving down too early, coming out in the wrong spot. So when I was watching this footage, I gave it a little pause right at the reach back. Try to get there. Yeah, so at the most extended point that I'm getting to, I still have a big bend in my elbow. And I think the reason why is actually the angle that I'm having with my shoulders to my arm up at the top. So it kind of feels like sometimes when I throw that almost like I'm leaning back or I'm arching back. And if you watch the video, that's not really what's happening. It's just that everything's too closed off in my shoulders because of the angle of my upper arm to my upper body. So to show you in this video, see that's kind of like the plane of release that the disc is going to be moving on. If we set up how I was setting up, which is basically like this, you'll see that the angle from the upper arm to the body is just completely closed at this point. So what this video is going to show you is that from here, you've got nowhere to move back. So even though in this video I'm not turning my lower or upper body, this is going to show you that you have a very limited range of motion if that angle is down like that. So as I go back, you can see it kind of like it's like my shoulder wants to go through my body. It's like I'm in my own way. I've got nowhere to go. But if you lift it up like that, and now you have a right angle to your upper body and your upper arm, as well as a right angle to your lower arm and your upper arm, and you just bend over at the diaphragm a little bit so you can get it back on that plane of release. From here, you've got all the room to get to full extension and then come back into that power pocket and recreate both of those right angles. So you do close the upper right angle on the reach back as well as opening that right angle. But then when you come back in, you open this one back to a right angle and then you close that one back to a right angle and then you follow through to a complete extension after that. So let's watch this pro pull video that I got. This is again the wrong way where I'm kind of standing up here, very straight up in the air. From there, you see my arm, it kind of just stays ahead of my hips. You can kind of watch as I go forward, my elbow just shoots off to the right and gets ahead of everything super early. And if you watch the string up here at the top, you'll see that at the hip point, it's got nothing to do but shoot off to the left a little bit and then come back in to the right as I let go of it, which is going to cause your throws to be round. That's what this is. It's a rounding problem from not being able to get to a full extension as you go back on your reach back. If we compare that to the corrected version, you can already see I've got more of a bend in my body here, and I can get much straighter with my arm, and then I make those two right angles in the power pocket, and then as we follow through the hip point, the string doesn't move at all. It pretty much stays in that same straight line. And I've got a much wider range of motion. It's not like my shoulders getting pinched up into my chin like before. My elbow's not flinging off way past my hips super early. And so I haven't been able to try this out on the field yet. I will make that video soon, but to show you just in my backyard, we'll watch it the wrong way first, the way I had been doing it. You can kind of see how it's all wobbly and it sort of comes out like that, sort of swooping off to the right because it's a round throw and because I can never get to a full extension here. It flings off to the right. It comes out hyzer, and I am just trying to throw a simple hyzer down to this area. But instead of flipping up in a kind of nice clean way, it's getting just yanked off to the right. And if I had been running up or doing a more full throw, it would have held that and probably just finished right as well. If we compare that to the corrected version, that time we got a nice flip up. So it did flip, kind of, but it stayed on a hyzer angle the whole time. It never completely turned over into an anhyzer, and it did exactly what I wanted it to. It got a little bit farther, and it also skipped a little bit on the ground, which the other one didn't. The video before ended a little early, but it just stuck into the ground when it hit. And if we look at these pictures, So this was the Berg shot. Here I am at the reach back. And again, my arm's not completely straight here because it is a standstill throw. I'm not running up, and I don't want to overthrow because there's a creek down there. But from there to the release, the disc pretty much has a 1-to-1 angle ratio from in my hand to out of my hand. And you can tell it pretty much just went in a straight line on that angle that I'm imagining with my shoulders and my right angles of my arm as well. The elbow kind of points it where it's going to go in this shot. And that's also true for the wizard. But in this one you can kind of see where's my elbow pointing. It's pointing down there. So even though the rest of my body is thinking hyzer, throwing that way, my elbow is going to push it that way. And you can see the disc is starting to turn over out of my hand that way. Because again, I'm creating a rounded throw where my hips are blasting it this way, but my shoulders are blasting it that way because my upper body is faster than my lower body. So I hope this helps. Yeah, give that a try. Just be a little bit careful when you try new stuff. You don't want to get injured. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.